Welcome back to Backyard Cars, and today, well, it's time to put the big block back with the transmission back into the Monte Carlo. Let's not waste no time. Let's get right on it. I know everybody's been waiting on this. I sure have been too. We got all of our rust repaired, and we painted our frame. And of course, we're in, full-blown mechanican attire. I mean, there's no faster way to ruin a pair of khaki shorts than to work on a car while wearing khaki shorts. And I could, put on some blue pants and one of them fancy blue shirts with my name on it and pretend that I'm ASE certified. But I'm not. And OSHA ain't coming here, so who cares? The only thing I gotta say is, watch the toes. Because get them out of the way. If that falls, just jump back. Don't lose the toe. Alright, so, oh yeah, big block. I gotta get the torque converter stuffed into the transmission. And then mount the two up and stick it in. Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, it's already rained on me twice. Looks like it's gonna drizzle again. Let's get the torque converter in. My FTI torque converter, handmade in America. And it's not sponsored at all. I paid for this. Nothing free. Although I did negotiate a good price. Nope. I just paid them. I did get them to throw in 2 free shirts. But I think they throw in shirts for everyone. So, nothing's free in this world. We're going to take some of this stuff we got going on right here and, well, we're going to lube the shaft. Try to get in on that seal so it ain't going on dry. Just, make sure everything's good. Don't just jam it in there dry. Guess who's back? I went and got tranny fluid, and it rained, and everything's moved up here. So we're gonna start here, and we'll reset up again later on. Where were we? We were making sure that there was lubrication on here. It's going through the things, and we need to put fluid in it. And I know some people say, I've never pre-filled a torque converter. And some people, they say they have. I personally have never put one together without for pre-filling the torque converter. It only makes sense. You pre-fill your oil filter. I mean, if nothing's going in, how can it pump it out? So, it's going to bubble and slowly drink up that fluid. And once we got some in there, we can't fill it too far because then when you turn it to put it on, well, it's going to leak. So just take it easy, get a little fluid in there, a little something to, have lubrication on everything when you go to spinning it. We're going to be here a while. All right, 42 minutes later, she's absorbed a lot. We got about 1.5 quarts in it. And we're just going to pick it up and stick it on here. Note, I don't know if you can see, there's 2 shafts. When you go to put this on here, you're going to feel it jump on the first one, and then you got to rotate it. Make sure you got it on both of the shafts. 2 clicks. Oh, I went 1, 2 right away. She's in there. Am I pumping fluid out of it? Hopefully not. I got to spin at 2,800 RPM. All right, we're good. Seems like everything's swell. Look, I can't say enough about FTI. I went seeing them around everywhere. I've never ran one, but I've seen them on a lot of high-powered cars, I've heard a lot of good stuff about them, and they're local to me. They're just about an hour north of me. So we're giving them a shot. And I do appreciate how quick they got it to me. They said 2 weeks, and it was like 10 or 11 total days. And it's going to want to nose down, I'm sure. But I tell you. So that we can kind of catch it and make the back end sit down to get the trans on. You know what I mean? Whoa, way too fast. Slow down. A little bit more? Just a little bit more? Whoop. Can I just pick the trans up? Is it going to balance? It might. It might not. It might tip right off of there. So a lot of people think you got to crank on these, but it's only 25 foot-pounds. Just 25. All right, well, we're at the very max that our engine lift plate can handle. I mean, that's pretty much it. And, well, we know that we're at the back side of the hole, but it's still going to be tail down pretty good. So we're going to jack it up till it's off the jack, and then we'll move the jack. And we'll start putting Big Girl in. And let's just hope that, you know, it holds. Because that's a big motor to go boom. Uh-oh, I got fluid. I got fluid. Jeez, if I had any organization, that would be dangerous. Oh, okay. All right. It's squatting down a little bit. Maybe. Wishful thinking, I don't know. Man, is it tight. I'll show you here in a second. I think it looks good. It's sitting in there right. Everything appears to have clearance, although, you know, the header and the drive shaft or steering column are, well, they're real close. That's going to be real close. The room right here. It's going to be something. All right, I guess I got to start finding parts to put on it now. I'm going to need a fuel pump and a starter. And I'm not going to put the front clip on until we've got pretty much everything figured out where it's going. Distributor, make sure we got clearance back there, run some wiring to the motor, do a lot of those things before we got the clip back on it. All right, let me get set up for the next step and pray it don't rain because it don't look good today. It's been on and off. All right, let's stay on focus. Well, it rained on me like on and off for all afternoon, so I got absolutely nothing done. But I did put the distributor in, just set it in there so that there wasn't a hole back there and water couldn't get in it. And now I did drill some holes up here so I can mount up my ignition box. And yeah, I only got 2 screws in it with rubber pads. That's all I had right now. So it'll be alright. Some of the wiring figured out and zipped up for that. And man, there's a lot of things to do. We just got to start plugging away. I got to go get the fuel pump, starter, a couple other things. We're going to kind of knock those out real quick as the sun goes down. And I got horrible lighting at night. So at that point, I'll just knock some things out that you're not going to get to see. I'm going to put the coil like right there. And hopefully everything will be out of the way. All right, well, I left you off the other day where I just got that on there. So it's like a couple days later. I had things to do and we had rain. And so I got my coil mounted, got all the wiring done back there. Got a starter. It's all wired in now. Got the water pump on. I think I already had the fuel pump on. Got the water pump. I came over here and I got us a little room here now. And I did that by coming around and loosening the bolts for the firewall and the brake booster right up in here. Nice and easy, nuts and nuts, and I just wiggled it till I got some room. Let's see, where are we at? Everything is good now. We got to get our pulley puller system on here and fuel up to the double pumpers and address all that. I mean, we should be able to put the pulley system on and get our fuel up there pretty easy, right? I got stuff, so let's get on that. We got fancy brackets. We got ping pong brackets, guys. They're brackets from the warehouse of cheapness. I sorted, like always, I sorted for cheap first, lowest to highest. And I got a whole kit for like $69, $68, I think. So I hit buy it now. And this is what we got. And I've used these before, so. No, I mean, it's on there. Let's grab the alternator. This is my serpentine alternator that came off of my serpentine setup from the small block. And, well, they don't fit either. Let's look at that. Let's see if it won't screw in now. I mean, can we just test fit it up a little bit, see what's going on? Make sure something's got to fit, right? I think this is called an SI alternator or something like that. It's a serpentine with the plug. And I know it's smaller than the rest, so I knew that the alternator wasn't going to fit, but at least you can see the brackets. Let's grab this power steering pump stuff and see what that does. Of the ping-pangy aluminum. Oh, and I can already tell right now this is not right. This is the bracket tree for a small block. Yep. The power steering bracket is not correct. And there's no way they're gonna just send these 2 pieces. They're gonna say, send the whole thing back to me. We'll send you another one. I could probably use a small block power steering mount on something else. So let's move forward, shall we? Well, since we can't move forward with that, we can mock up some fuel line, because I'm sure something's going to happen with that. And as you can see, we got a fancy new, double pumper fuel rail, log, whatever you want to call it. Because the old one, it came, it's the old steel one that came like way out to here with the nipple. And then I would have had to run rubber hose, and all that out here. And I just thought, let's check and see what the cheap stuff looks like. And here we go. There goes our cheap fuel rail. Okay. Mocked up. That's good. I mean, it's bent here, but that keeps us out away from the carb. We could shorten that. We could take this apart and cut a 1/2 inch out of that, 1/4 inch or whatever, and probably turn it back straight. But it's going to be okay for what we're doing. Let me grab the other part of the fuel line. Because of the way our fuel line runs, we're going to put a gauge here. And our fuel line is going to go straight down to the pump down here. So this will work out perfect because of the angle of the dangle. One thing successful at least. Now we just got to take the buzz wheel and buzz that off. Put the AN stuff back on. We're rocking. Alright, well, since we don't have our brackets for our power steering, we can go back to making our headers new. And this is what the old crusty headers look like. And I don't have $500 for a new set. So I've already wire brushed this one with the wire wheel. And we're going to spray them with some paint, some of that VHT. So we'll just get on it, That's what happens when you don't have all the big bucks. I got this mask here to protect my lungs. I don't know what it's from, to be honest with you. I just found it in my box of stuff. Probably got it at a yard sale cheap and said, yep, I'll stick that on while I'm doing something like this. I don't even know how it works. I guess that's it. I feel like I'm in COVID now. But this is nasty and you don't want to breathe it at all. So here we go. Alright, so we got the headers wire brushed. As you can see, it's a little bit of shade to sunlight. It's bright over here right now. And they're not perfect, but they're going to suffice. And now we got them in our easy bake oven in the Florida sun. And it's like 10 o'clock. And as the sun gets to noon, this is going to be cooking right here. And then we're going to paint them with some heat paint and make them brand new again. Now, over to the car. Voila, we've got the correct alternator, although this one's going to be replaced. It's the right size alternator, so all that lines up. Power steering brackets coming today. I did put a new throttle cable on because the old one won't reach, so I got to do the cuttings on that. And then I started thinking to myself, these wires here for the alternator and fan switch and whatnot, and our temp sensor, all this came down the intake. So I ran this one down through the center of the intake, and I'll trim it up, but that'll go like that. And then these, I'm going to simplify this setup. I don't need these 2 wires, so I'm about to eliminate this, and I'm going to come and grab key power from one of these holes right here and run another line around and over to the side over here for my alternator and my fan switch. And this essentially is going to disappear. So there will be no wires visible, you know, on the top of the motor. Just getting a little fancy there. But anyhow, we're going to plug away with some of the wiring, and it's boring, you know, to watch run wires. And then I got to walk back and forth 100 times because, you know, you never have all the fittings. So let's get that done. Let's see, what else did I do yesterday? I got other stuff. Oh, I got the trans lines ran up to here. Now we got to do our adapter to the radiator and trans cooler up here. But either way, right now we're waiting. It's supposed to be here by like 1 o'clock. So our power steering bracket, and we can put our power steering pump on, and then eyeball our pulleys and try to figure out. I think it's just a standard 2V groove long water pump big block pulleys. Water pump and yeah, crank. And then I keep forgetting this. I'm probably going to need the V for the power steering pump because I don't think I have one of those anywhere. Although it's small block stuff. I got my small block setups. I got the serpentines, the big aluminum bracket serpentines for the small blocks. So I guess that's it right now. Oh, I got my carb studs in too. So all that's right. Put the carb on here. I guess I could do that right now. We could set up and put the carb on while we're waiting on the sun for the headers. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put the carb on. All right, got a carburetor. And I know you guys done seen all the fancy stuff, fuel line setup and all that. Is it on there? All right. What do you think of that? I know, it's ugly. Ugly old carburetor. Got the throttle plate. I'm gonna just knock that down. Okay, that's looking good. Got some hardware. I know those studs are a little bit long. I was looking for 3 1/4 or 3 inch, and I came across 3 1/2. No 3 inch. Well, I could get 3 inch, but they were 3 times the price. We got room in case we want to go up with the spacer, you know? No? I don't know. I was just trying to make positive of it. Nice. This is going in here for now just to block anything, but I don't have vacuum on this intake anywhere for the brake booster. So I'm going to have to use that vacuum for my brake booster. This motor doesn't make much vacuum at all. I think best I got out of it was 6. How do they measure vacuum? It had about 6 pounds of suckage on it. I don't know. I turn wrenches. I don't do math. All right, so here is the final view of the headers after being painted up with that VHT header paint, flat black. And they cooked in the sun for 2 days. And when we put them on the car, we're going to run their heat cycle that they say, even though they'll be fully cured. Well, we'll try to break them in with some heat cycles real quick. We'll try. Hopefully they don't burn off, but if it does, oh well. It burns off, and we're getting a new set anyway, because, I mean, the miracle is that they stay like this, and if they stay like this, we'll keep them as long as they stay like this. try to save the monies. As far as this goes, this is where we're at. And I'm about to set up and push the car back, and we're going to put the front clip on because I've been waiting on parts, and a bunch of stuff's coming tomorrow. My third different power steering bracket. Hopefully that one is the correct one for a big block. But I got the fuel line. I think I already showed you that. And my throttle linkage. Oh, I had to come back and change this up. I had to drill out down here because up here, when the throttle pulled back, it wasn't giving me full throttle because it needed to pull down a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? Like it would pull back to like right there because of the way it goes in up here. And from here, you know, I still got a quarter throttle. So it needs to come down and be level down here. Anyhow, front clip's going back on. That's sitting over here. So, yeah, that's Money Pit. I know. This car really depresses me. Because I work on it, and then something else is wrong. And then I fix that, and something else is wrong. And it never, ever seems to want to just drive. I mean, it'll fire up and run and kind of run you anywhere you want to go, but it never is right. It always needs tinkering. That's a whole nother story. Alright, let me get set up and we'll put the front clip back on it. Alright, it's a new day, and last night off camera I got a bunch of stupid things done. I couldn't go to bed, stayed up till midnight. I even took out my zip-tied trans cooler and made a little aluminum bracket so I could mount it in there and not be on zip ties. Ran all my... should go down inside here with, you know, professionally approved self-tappers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs a self-tapper or two. I did pre-drill some holes in there so that I knew exactly where we were going with it for just these first two. Then I think I left enough room to get one more underneath on each one. Really give it some rigidity. Maybe. Perfection. That's going to be in there. Right? Right. That one might have been a little close to the other one. Okay. Either way. Trans cooler is now in there. Alright. There's where our trans cooler's mounting. Got one hose here. It's coming in the loop-de-loo over here. Goes into my trans lines that I got mounted up nicely. You know, hard line. Got some flex over here so we don't just bust them loose. Everything's good. Got the wiring done. The only thing left I got here is this is 12 volt ignition. We might need it to energize this alternator or this style of alternator. And then this wire comes this is my fan ignition relay, so I need 12-volt key on this also. So these two, if I need, I might spring and buy a one-wire alternator. So all that's done. What else did I do? I got this wiring harness redone and secured. The only thing I got to do back here now is put the one, again, my 12-volt keyed is right there, and I got to plug it back into the bulkhead. And we're done with that. Now, the pain in the butt power steering pump. The brackets came in the third kit. Hopefully this one's good. Fingers crossed that we can put our power steering pump on today. So let's grab that kit because it came in yesterday late and see if that fits up. All right, guys. Let me get this out of the way right now. This is a non-sponsored part. And I tried my darndest to get this kit as cheap as possible. Try to do it up as cheap as you possibly could. So I ordered a kit from the Jungle Warehouse that had this bracket and the power steering bracket. One whole kit for $68, right? And ICT billet wants like $125 for the same kit. And it said it was for a big block. And I got the kit in, and the alternator side is good, but the power steering side was for a small block. So I could use the power steering one. You know, we play with small blocks. So I set it to the side, and I ordered another completely different power steering kit. And it came in, and it was for a small block. All say big block. And I went back and looked again for another one, and I couldn't find another one. So then ICT billet came back into play because, well, I had to. It was the only one I could get. But what I will say is ITC billet sent this kit in this bag, set up just like this perfectly, whereas all the other places just throw them in a box. And that's it, with no instructions. Now granted, let me tell you again now, I reached out to them and asked them to sponsor me, and they said no. So this is not, I paid for this. $56 for this kit. But look, they gave you these nifty instructions with tape measures, and it's, look, this is what you get when you pay the little extra money. You know what I mean? Now, I did beat their kit price by using the Ping Pang other side, but I was forced to use this. So, but I will tell you that it's worth the money. If you got the extra money, this is the way to go. I don't know if being chintzy on really, you know, saving the extra $50 was worth the headache. But if you don't have the money, you can use that bracket, and then you got to get the ICT billet one. But I cut these open, and let's see if this bracket is actually machined for the big block. And well, it's correct. Imagine that, an American company sending the correct American parts. I know, I should have bought it there first. But sometimes, you know, you're just cheap. And that's all there is to it. I was being cheap, trying to do it. Some of us don't have unlimited budgets, you know? All right, enough rambling. We're going to zoom in there and assemble this bracket tree real quick. This is appearing to be perfect. It is going to line up with a sweetness. All right. One thing I don't have is the pulley pusher honor thingy, 3000. I think I could run a bolt down this with a nut on it and a washer and kind of accomplish the same thing. Maybe. I don't know is what I'm saying. I'm feeling good. I wish I could get this back on now. Just manhandle it on there. I just want to show you guys this real quick. I bought this throttle cable, and conveniently in the throttle cable, because everybody needs this stuff, under accessories are white gloves and an Allen wrench. Mind you, the Allen wrench does not fit the cable. And this is something I bought off Amazon, so just get the one from O'Reilly's or go to Speedway, get the one from Speedway, because it's going to be right. And although it's not going to come with a pair of white gloves for accessories, it's going to fit correctly. So, on to the header. I got them on because I didn't want to get my hand grease all over the header, you know, as you're putting your header painted. It's header paint. It's VHT paint. So if I go to touching it, then my oils from my hands are all over it. And that might burn funky and burn the paint off. I don't know. I'm trying to cook them in. So I got one bolt in here, one bolt back there, because that's how the header gasket hangs out. And these are Cometic. Where did the box go? Caliente. Cometic exhaust header gaskets. They're the ones that fit this. So, and they're crush. So I got steel to steel, and that is a crush steel gasket, right? So it should seal it fine. We really shouldn't need any type of copper or anything like that. Bolts in the header. And every one of these bolts should go in, you know, perfectly easy. Never a problem, right? I mean, a lot of times when stuff's supposed to go smooth, it doesn't. It doesn't want to fit. And the mosquitoes are coming out like they saw the sun go down and said, it's hunting time, because they're eating up my legs. Well, you already know at this stage of the game, there's a special racing oil that this engine requires. And that is the same oil that I pulled out of it when I pulled it out of the T-bucket and looked it over. Yep. I mean, it was only in there for maybe an hour of runtime. So why not go right back in? Yeah. That's cheap. Fella, did you not hear me say I was on a budget? I mean, and we could have bought new oil, but I bought other things. Things that were necessary. 2 of these is what? 8 quarts. She ought to be over full. Alright, I'm going to turn it over a minute or two to see if I got any oil pressure. Tell me if I got fuel leaking. You know, watch for fuel. Sure smells like I got fuel. Where's it leaking at? It's leaking all up in here, huh? Oh, right there. I think I got it tightened down now. I gave it 2 turns with the Allen head, back and forth. I guess we'll just have to turn it over again and see. Alright, I'm going to button up a couple things, and I might fire it up before I put the bumper on, but we'll see. I got to reorganize and put on some dang pants, because they're getting me. Hold on. Alright, just hold it. Alright, last night we got the bumper on and got everything buttoned up. And we are ready to bump the key and see what'll happen. Alright, we got a little bit of stuff out, and I swapped the plug wires out because the old plug wires, the yellow XLs, they were hitting the header pipes themselves and not fitting very well, so we handled that. A couple other little stupid things. And then I was getting ready to set timing as we get the, car going again. And I fired it twice, and we've got it running where it'll hold its own idle. So now we're going to get timing roughed in and do a little carb adjusting and let it sit and run through a good heat cycle. But I just wanted to show you when you're down here on your balancer, right? What I do, a little rule of thumb, see if I can't get in here close and show you this. All right, so this mark is TDC and should be like down here on the 0, lines you up with 1 TDC on your 1 cylinder. Now what I like to do is, once I got that all figured out, I like to roll this around until you come back to 16 and then remark the balancer right here with a different type of mark, like a little V or something. And that indicates to you when you're running your timing light that if you see one mark, well, you're looking at 0 to 16 degrees before top dead center. And if you see 2 marks, you're at 16 degrees. And if you see the V, well, that's 16 degrees plus wherever you're at on the next 16 degree scale. So if you start off and you're here, right, and you end up with your V from down here, way up here, well, you're at like 32 degrees timing. So it's just an easy way, real quick in the field, that you can mark that and get a sense of where you are in your timing. You feel me? Oh, well, all right, guys. We got our timing on mark now, and it'll stay running. I was hoping for like an idle speed, a target idle speed of like 1150, but it seems like it wants to hang, more around 1350, and to me it's a little high. And it seems like it's loading up at idle. So I think I'm going to go ahead and double check my float levels and then retune the air fuel mixture. Get the vacuum gauge on it. It's got no vacuum, but we'll try to get as much as we can, 3-4 inches of mercury, I think is what they call it. We'll see what we can get. Well, it's not officially a race car until you put, your race car stickers on it. So we're definitely running old Felpro gaskets, So Felpro gets a spot. I mean, why shouldn't they? Looks good to me. I don't know where that is. I think I did Google it one time. It's like Philadelphia or something like that. That one might have been a little big for that spot. B&M. Why not? I mean, we're race car. That's what the shifter is. It's a B&M Sport? Something like that. That was donated by DJ Rockin' Rich Bedford last year when we were getting ready for Sick Week. We got some stickers of some things that aren't on the car, but who put stickers of things that ain't on their car on their car? I mean, if it ain't on your car, you shouldn't have a sticker of it. Sweet. Now, officially, it's a race car. Right? Right. All right, we got the car back on after changing the power valves and being sure that it was cleaned out. And it's up and running. And now we're going to dial in the carb a little bit and take this hood off so we can go for a spin because, well, it won't close with it on. But we're driving it today in like the next 10 minutes. Driving it. Well, we did it. Successfully put the big block in the Monte Carlo and went for a drive. And now tomorrow, we'll take it out to drag strip riot, completely untested, and blast it down the track in hopes that we don't blow it up. We're going to give her the what to and how for. But I appreciate you watching. I'm going to probably cut a hole in the hood off camera and stick that back on. So check it out. But again, next week will be a video of this thing at Drag Strip Riot. How fast do you think it'll run the quarter now? We were running 1550s. And I got to say, this is like 4 times what that small block was. So maybe we run 5s. Ha! No, realistically, I'm thinking 12 and a halves. Maybe. It's a tall gear, 273 rear end. So remember that. When we're not running 411s on a big tire or something, you know? Jeez. But we're trying to do dual purpose. Fast at the track and, you know, smoky burnouts. We gotta drive there and back. That's our deal with this thing. Can we be fast? Can we pop 2 tires? And then can we drive it home? Tomorrow we're gonna see if we can make it fast. But I appreciate you watching. Go down there, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all those good things. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook if you're on those social media things. All right, let's cut a hole in the hood, and I'll see you guys next week.